Right guys, I thought I'd do a different video here. This one is Sonic Blast. This game was a Game Gear game and was ported to the Master System in Brazil, I believe. So this isn't a comparison video, this is just me taking a look at this Sonic Blast really. I have included Sonic 2, but this, like I said, it isn't a comparison video. The only reason why I've included Sonic 2 is I've put it in there as a point of reference, just, you know, as a graphical point of reference. It's not actually a comparison video. Now I could have chose any other Master System game other than Sonic 2. I don't know, I just chose Sonic 2. There was no reason behind that. It was just the one that I chose. But like I said, I could have chose any other Master System game as a point of reference really. So Sonic Blast, as you can tell, it did the pre-render graphics thing on the 8-bit system, and I've got to say it is quite impressive that they managed to do that on an 8-bit system. Obviously it's never going to, graphically it's never going to be as good as what they did with Donkey Kong on the SNES. I mean, that game looked absolutely bloody amazing. I can't even believe they managed to get that out of the SNES, out of the 16-bit system. You know, really probably one of the best looking 16-bit games, along with perhaps Comic Zone, that I've ever seen. But yeah, going back to Sonic Blast, really impressed they managed to do what they did on the 8-bit system, which was essentially the Game Gear, and the Game Gear was essentially like the Master System anyway, but whatever. But does it look good though? I'm in two minds, because I appreciate what they tried to do and that they kind of achieved what they did on the 8-bit system, because when you look at it, you have to be impressed with what they managed to achieve with it and what they got out of the system. You know, that's impressive. It is impressive. But at the same time, and especially when you think that it's a Sonic game, and when you think of the other Sonic games on the Master System, or maybe any other game when you're thinking of the graphics, you have to look at it and think, as a thing of beauty, in terms of pleasing to the eye graphics, does it look good? And I'm kind of saying no to that, it doesn't. But like I said, it's kind of like, for me, it's a two minds thing, because it doesn't look good. Oh, that's the thing. When I look at it, I don't find it pleasing to the eye. I don't find it a thing of beauty. I find it very, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look pleasing to the eye. It doesn't, I'm not looking at it and thinking, wow, graphically this is very beautiful. When I look at it, I think, well, wow, that's impressive that they managed to get that out of the system, but I'm not thinking, wow, how pleasing to the eye and what I think of beauty this is graphically. I think as a thing of beauty, I suppose it depends on the person playing the game really. It's all subjective, very, you know, I've got how I feel about it, but you know, someone else might feel differently about the graphics. Yeah, it looks a bit hodgepodge in a way, to me. I mean, gameplay wise, controls are good. Nothing untoward going on with the graphics. Everything feels solid. Sonic does have this ability where they're putting like the spin dash thing, and there's this other one where you jump in midair, and if you press jump again, he'll do another dash, obviously to reach higher places and whatnot. But I don't think it's that big a deal on the game, because the level design ain't that really complicated really. That's another thing in this game. The level design is pretty bland and kind of boring, to be honest with you. I wasn't that impressed with it. I mean, it's not to say that the other Sonic games, especially in the early stages of the other Sonic games, have particularly fantastically amazing level design, but they have better level design than Sonic Blast overall. The length of Sonic Blast in terms of the levels is quite short, but then when I went back and played Sonic 2, I was actually surprised how short the levels are in that game. Now, I haven't played Sonic 2 since I was a kid, so that's going back to the early 90s, and I never really got on with Sonic 2 anyway because I didn't like the difficulty of the game. I felt that the difficulty level in Sonic 2 was really quite high compared to Sonic 1, which is why I really didn't get on with it. But I did like the graphics and the level design, and the music was pretty good. But one thing I just don't remember the levels being so short in Sonic 2. I was quite surprised going back to the game after all these years that the levels were quite short. Maybe it's because I was, as a kid, I was smaller and the world was bigger, kind of, you know, reasoning. That's what I think anyway. So yeah, I can't fault Sonic Blast for its short levels really. But in terms of level design, I think it's pretty boring really. Overall graphics of the levels, now obviously the enemies and Sonic look pretty advanced, but I don't think the levels actually look that advanced. In fact, I actually think the levels do take quite a hit in terms of the graphics. They don't look that advanced as Sonic and some of the enemies and some of the animations. So yeah, the levels do look quite, you know, uninspiring and graphically not as good as other parts of Sonic Blast. But yeah, I'm not finding this game a kind of thing of beauty or anything, to be honest with you. But like I said, it is quite subjective. It might, you know, other people can have their opinions on the game. I'd like to hear what other people think of Sonic Blast, to be honest with you. What other people think of the graphics. One of the things with this game is I think one of the biggest aspects of this game is that the graphics don't fit the game. The graphics should have been... The graphics would have worked out better, I think, if they had done a different game. If they had come up with their own game or put it on another series or something. But I don't think the graphics were the right match with Sonic. I don't think the graphics should have been done on a Sonic game. Like I said, this game was, well, I don't think I have said it actually, but this game was produced by a third-party developer and was actually released by Sega. Actually, I think it was done quite late in the 90s, but I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong about that. But then, if you think of Sega towards, you know, the mid-90s, they weren't exactly making a lot of great decisions back then, and I don't know why they would greenlight this, but they shouldn't have. Like I said, the company who made this game, Sonic Blast, should have done the graphics, but on a different game. The graphics shouldn't have been done on a Sonic game, basically. Cause I don't know, it just. Maybe on a smaller screen, like on the Game Gear, it perhaps comes out a lot better. But on a TV screen, it doesn't look good at all. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say on the game, really. Yeah, like I said, one half of me thinks, you know, pretty advanced game, you know, looks impressive visually for an 8-bit, blah blah blah. On the other hand, I'm not finding it a thing of beauty, and not really impressed with, you know, it. I'm not really impressed with the graphics in terms of a Sonic game compared to the other games, and not really finding the graphics overall a thing of beauty to behold. Although, like I said, it does look advanced. But yeah, I'd love to hear what other people think about this game. It's quite an interesting one, this one. So yeah, that's Sonic Blast.